The word block stands for business logic components. The main thing about block is that everything in the application should be represented as a stream of events. Widgets send events, other widgets will respond to those events. Block is based on streams. That's why I explained streams in the first part. First of all, it is important to get familiar with two new words that are very important: events and states. I will explain these two words with some examples. Let me give you some great news. You can join our Flutter community on Telegram. Simply join this group to stay in contact with other Flutter developers, to learn from each other, and to become a better Flutter developer. So don't forget and join now. Suppose I have an application that displays a number on the screen and I can increase or decrease that number. So this application has two functions. One is to increase the number and the other is to decrease the number. So two events can happen in this application, which are decreasing and increasing the number. Now, one of these events happens, what do we expect to see? For example, if the number increase event occurs, what should we see? That's right. We have to see that number on the screen increases by 1. So, when an event is executed, our application enters a new state. For example, if I see the number 0 on the screen and number increasing event occurs, the application enters a new state, which is the state of displaying the number 1 on the screen. In general, our application always has a state. We can't say that application has no state. In fact, the number 0 that is displayed on the screen is a state for itself. Now the occurrence of events causes our application to enter a new state. So the occurrence of events changes the state of the application. What is the state in this example? Because our events cause the number on the page to change, so our state cannot be that number. In the initial state of the application, that number is 0, and when each of those events happens, that number changes and our application must display that new number, which means that application must display new state. Block pattern, in addition to being a state manager, and we can use it to control the state of our application, the block pattern can also be used as an architecture pattern in such a way that we can separate the codes related to the UI part from the codes related to the information processing part and get data from the server or local database. In this image, we can see how to separate the UI part from the data part. The block is placed in the middle of the application, and widgets communicate with the block through the events. For example, the weather button says, "Hey block, I want you to tell me the weather of the city entered by the user. Get the name of the city and give me its data." Well, now we want to code. I want to do the example that increases or decreases a number with block pattern. Just note that I'm going to use block pattern, not block package. So let's get started. The first thing we have to do is create a new file called counter_event. So I'm going to create this file. In this file, we are going to define events. And as you know, we have two events called increment event and decrement event. So we have to define these two events in this file. But how should we define the events? We have a basic class called counter event, and we have two other classes called increment event and decrement event. These two classes should be a subset of counter event because all our events must be of the same type. So first I'm going to create basic class, counter event class. This class should be abstract class because increment and decrement classes must inherit from this class. So this class should be abstract so that increment and decrement classes can inherit from this class. So I'm going to create abstract class called counter event. Great. In the next step, we have to create increment event and decrement event classes. This is very simple. We just need to create a simple class, and then, as I said, we have to inherit from counter event class like this. Event, and for inherit, as you know, we need to use extends keyword. And for decrement, now, because increment event and decrement event inherit from counter event, finally these classes are a type of counter event class. So we have to write our events in this style, and you have to make sure that they are all of the same type in the end. Here we are done. In the next step, we have to create block class. So I'm going to create a new file called counter_block. Here, first let's create a new class called counterblock. In this class, we need a counter field that is type of int, because this is supposed to be the state of our application, and we will return this number. So I'm going to define a counter like this. As I said in the second part, block is based on a stream, which means its events and states should be a stream. But why should events and states be streams? As I said before, streams is a flow that is always available until you close it. Whenever an event happens, we want to see a new state in the app, and this requires that our events are in the form of a stream, so that we can listen to this stream of events in the block class. Well, first I'm going to create a stream controller called counterStateController, which becomes a stream of our states. And in the next step, I define a stream sync called encounter. As I said before, sync is for putting a data in the stream, and because we want to return a state to the stream when an event occurs, we need to use sync. And finally, I define a stream called counter so that the UI will listen to this stream and create its own appearance. Now I want to create a stream controller for the events as well. Pay attention that we only need sync for our events, because we are going to put an event in the stream through our widgets. That's why we only need sync. Next, I create a constructor method for my class. In this method, I will listen to the stream controller that I created for my events, so that whenever an event is received from the UI side, I will understand here. Finally, in the lesson method, I passed a method called mapEvent2State. Now let's implement the mapEvent2State method. What this method does is get the event, then it checks if the event was equal to increase event, one increases number, and if it was decrease event, one decreases number. And finally, by using the encounter variable, which was a sync for the state, we put that number in the stream of states. Now, whoever listens to the state stream will understand this number that is placed in the flow. Finally, we have to write a method to close the streams for us, because closing them is very important. Here, we are done. Now, it's time to establish the relationship of this class with UI. First, we need to create an instance of the counterblock class. As you know, we want the value of the number to increase or decrease. Therefore, we have to wrap the text inside the stream builder. This widget has several important fields. The first is initial data, which we set to 0. So our initial data is 0. The next field is stream, which asks us to give it something of stream type. Because we want it to listen to our state stream, we have to give it a stream of our state, which counterblock.counter is exactly the stream we want. The next important field is builder, which must be a method that has two parameters. One is context and the other is snapshot. And we must return a widget in this method. This snapshot is actually the return data from the same stream. If there is data returned from the stream, this snapshot has a value. But if nothing is returned, this snapshot has no value. To access data, we can use snapshot.data. Well, we have made our state display using string builder. Now let's call events. Now I want to call the decrement event when we click on the minus button. If you remember, in the counter block class, I made a string controller from my events, and then I made a gather method called counter event sync, whose job was to add data to the string of events. Here I also want to use that gather method and tell it to add decrement event to my event stream. And I want to do the same thing for the second button, but there I add increment to my event flow. Now, as you can see, when I click on the plus button, the value increases, and when I click on the minus button, the value decreases. So it works without any problems. In this video, I try to explain the block pattern with a simple example. In the next video, we are going to start the Flutter Bloc package. So stay with me.